The Festival of Youth and Students was held in Sochi, Russia last month. Nearly 200 Namibian youth took part in the event, attended by well over 20,000 young people from across the world that had gathered to share ideas and experiences in various fields. From the Namibian side, youth activists and political leaders from different regions were delegated to travel to Russia for the week-long event. Before being sent off, the youth were encouraged by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to acquire knowledge that will allow them to make a difference in their own country, be it in the areas of politics, science or sports. The local Russian embassy described the event as the biggest platform in the world of international youth cooperation, as it brought together young people from 150 countries. Good evening and a warm welcome to One Exclusive. My name is Joseph Sheefeni. My guest this evening is John Paul Williams. John Paul attended the festival in Russia and is here to tell us about his experience. John Paul, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
The World Festival of Youth and Students, what was it for?
It's a festival where youth from around the world come together, where they share ideas. There were sessions where we discussed and those things. It was not only fun. People thought it's about fun and things, but it's serious issues which were discussed there. And it happened always after every 4 years, where most of the countries that are coming are those countries which were held by previous the communist countries. So most of them are there. And then also organizations who support communism and those things. They are all coming there together at that festival.
So basically it was more of youth coming together and sharing, their views and experiences in the political ways in their countries.
Yeah, it's basically that. And then we discuss the political challenges we have in our countries and all those things and challenges which youth are facing in their different countries. That is more what the festival is all about.
I particularly want to know about your experience because this must have been really exciting as someone that is, a political young activist in Namibia. What was your experience like over there?
The experience from here to there, it was very, very nice. The thing that I liked was the unity from the Namibians. We went as different parties, political parties. I think we were the only country having oppositions in amongst us, and NGOs and church groups. And the unity that we shared, we went as one team, as a Namibian team. The spirit of unity was prevailing there. Whenever we had the problems, we discussed it amicably, we solved it, and we had briefing sessions on issues like that. So I like the unity spirit that was prevailing amongst the delegates of Namibia.
I remember that before the youth left for Russia, they were reprimanded by the youth ministry for not being vocal enough on issues that affect them here at home. How has this platform prepared you to take on this challenge?
I went to sessions where the Europeans had sessions, and the way they discuss their issues, it's more respectable with their elders. Here in Namibia, I think we are not listened to because there's a certain group feeling that they are the ones that have to talk for the youth. But then they are disrespecting the elders. When you raise a point or you bring a point about, you must do it with respect. The moment you start insulting, I don't think the elders will listen to you. Who wants to give this country to a youngster who's disrespecting and who's always insulting the elders? It doesn't work like that. When you bring your point and you raise a point, you should do it with respect. Then people will listen to you.
So what you're saying is that the ways of approach of the youth towards the elders is quite different here in Africa to that of Europe?
Yes, because those people, when they approach something, they do it with respect. Here, let me make an example. I'm not trying to put people down, but for instance, if like AR thinks they are the spokespersons of the youth, in that sense, they insult leaders. They bring havoc. They disrupt the peace. You understand? But there's other organizations like the political organizations like the SWAPO Youth League, the DT Youth League, the NUDO Youth League, and the RDP Youth League, who, if they approach points, they do it with respect. You understand? And not create havoc or trying to disrespect when they're bringing the point about. And that is what I've learned there. You bring your point, you say something, but you do it with respect. That is very important.
Under what capacity did you go as?
I was a special invited guest for the SWAPO Party Youth League. Yeah.
All right. Apart from the discussions of politics and so on, what else did the youth of Namibia bring back home?
I think maybe the point that the other people's culture, we learn about the other people's cultures, we see how people do dialogues, we see how people approach things in different ways. Unlike us sometimes, you see, we learned about those things. There's a lot that we have learned and bring back home. Like, how can I say, like for instance, where we had sessions, the Africans had sessions, and then you go to the European sessions. In the African sessions, we concentrate more about past history. And when you go to the European session, you will see the people are talking about the future, what it holds for them, what it holds for their children. And we are stuck in this history thing, in the past history thing, which is for me, I did not take it very good because I thought, we know these things, we know what ZANU-PF have done, we know what ANC have done, we know what Kenneth Kaunda have done for us. Now we should concentrate on the future for our children. What are we Africans going to do in the next 40 years, 50 years? You see, I was somewhere at a session where a young boy, should I say young, from the University of Russia, invented a racing car. These cars like for Lewis Hamilton them. And I was so surprised. While you go to our side, we are just talking about the past history. And these people are thinking about their future.
I see that you're saying that we are here in Africa are still trying to understand our history and where we come from. But there's a saying that in order for you to know where you're going, you need to know where you come from.
The history we know. The history is in our books. But now we should concentrate. Decolonization, we are already free now. Now we should concentrate on the future of our children, our own future. Because these elders will not be there in the future. So they cannot make decisions for us. We have to make our own decisions and for the decisions for our children. We concentrate too much. History, we know it. History should be there. We should taught our children history. I'm not against it. But then we must also focus on the future of this country. That is very important. And that is what I learned there during my 2 weeks. That these European countries, they concentrate more on the future and not on the past.
Wouldn't you say they are already doing that? They are on track?
Kind of, but not
there yet.
Yeah, not yet there. Kind of, yeah, but I'm not. I think we can do more. That is what I'm trying to say. We can do more on that issues. You understand? Then we will get there very fast.
I understand that somehow only 50 young people were initially invited, but then 200 turned up at the airport to attend the festival in Russia. What do you know about that?
We were actually 178, if I'm correct, not 200. What happened is we got letters where they have accepted us to be part of the delegation. You were supposed to fill in on the system your details. And what happened there, it was not 15. When we went to Russia, 100 people were already accredited. The others were not accredited because there were mistakes with their surnames, their date of birth, their passport numbers and those things. So the system threw them out. So when we arrived there, 100 were accredited. And then the others were accredited the next day. So about saying there was only 50 people who were supposed to go and the others turned up, it's ridiculous. Because otherwise we wouldn't have received a visa to go to Russia. you received an invitation letter that says you are part of the delegation. With that one, you went to the embassy of Russia to get the visa. So everybody who was on that trip was supposed to be there. The only problem we encountered was when we arrived there, the 100 was accredited, the others not, but the next day they were accredited. Only 18 people was not accredited. For that, I cannot answer what happened there.
Now, how were these people chosen those that went to Russia? How were they chosen?
You apply. You apply through your, for instance, you apply through Swapo Party Youth League, you apply through the National Youth Council, the others applied through their church groups or whatever, but you go through one channel. The NYC, and then the preparatory committee, they select, and then they send the names through, and those people there, the organizers, they accept or decline your application.
Now, I'm sure that apart from engaging other youth from across the world in Russia, Sochi, you also met and made relations with local Namibian youth.
Namibian youth who was there who was studying in Russia, I think they were not part of the festival. I don't know what happened there. I cannot answer. We had only one lady who was our volunteer, who's a Namibian, who was assigned to us to take us to our transport and take us wherever. That's the only lady we met there. The others, I think, they did not come. I don't know what happened. No, but they were supposed to be there.
I'm actually speaking of the ones that went with you. Some of the ones that you probably didn't know.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. No,
they must have come from the different regions. Some must have come from different regions.
Yeah, there were people from all the different regions in Namibia. There were, as I said, the opposition parties. Yeah, they were there. So I met these people, and we were like, I stayed with the RDP Secretary General for the Youth. I was with the DTA bench and those people. And you wouldn't feel that those people were opposition. We were one, and it was nice to engage and talk to them and see that the spirit of unity in our country still live on.
So you, there in Sochi, you were all one, and not debating about issues. Instead, there you were all bringing the Namibian youth's agenda
together as one.
You were in Russia for longer than a week. I'm sure that you must have explored that country and seen how it has developed. What can Namibia learn from this great nation?
I met a few friends from Russia when I was there, and I made it a point for myself to go around, see this town. But I like asking questions, and I asked my friend because I saw there was a new part of Sochi and there was a old part, and I asked him, why is it like this? He told me that Sochi was built within 10 years before the Olympics, and even the president came to help build this city.
Which Olympics was that?
I think the Winter Olympics was there. I'm not sure, but I think.
Which year was it? Many years ago?
Yeah, I think 2014 or something, because the buildings are still new.
Oh, okay.
The stadiums are up to standard. The road infrastructure is up to standard. The hotels is up to standard. It is just amazing. And where the Olympic Park is, he told me it was a rubbish dump. And if you go check it now, it's beautiful. It's just magnificent. So I think if we want, we can also do that. Within 10 years, you can build. If that city was built within 10 years, if my friend told me that, then that is amazing. Meaning we can also do that if we pull together, like our president used to say, Harambe. If we pull together, then we can achieve a lot.
Namibia hopes to be, become an industrialized nation by the year 2030. Do you think we are on track to achieving that goal? Are the youth, are up for the challenge?
2030 is around the corner. I don't think.
12 years from now. Looking at the way things are going currently.
If we pull together, then it can happen. But the way we are doing things now, or the way things are going now, we are pulling in different directions. Then I don't think we will achieve to 2030 if we are pulling different ways. But if we come together and work together, support the plans of the current administration, support each other along the way, then we will achieve it. But on the current situation where we're pulling aside different ways, I don't think so,
but
to be honest.
But wouldn't you say initiatives such as these are helping in this regard, to bring not only the youth of the world, but also when you look at country-wise, also bringing the youth of Namibia from different political parties together to work on solutions and the way forward?
Yeah, I think it helped. But I just hope when we came back from Sochi, we are still united, not everyone going back to his political party or whatever, and then from there we forgot what we have learned from Sochi. But if that spirit which prevailed in Sochi is here, could prevail here in Namibia, we will achieve 2013 without any doubt.
So when you guys went to Russia, you guys only stayed in Sochi, or you did manage to explore the country?
No, we were only in Sochi. We did not explore, we did not go to different towns or to Moscow or whatever. We were just there in Sochi for the whole 2 weeks of the event.
So you did not go to that country, the country's political heart, which is Moscow, the Kremlin. You didn't get to.
I wish I could have, but yeah, we were only in Sochi. I wish I could have gone to Moscow, but my biggest experience and the biggest moment of that festival was when we were sitting in the dome, there in the arena, and suddenly people were making noise, and I was wondering what's going on. To our surprise, we were addressed by the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. I cannot explain the excitement, the experience I had, because my tears were just flowing, and we, the Namibian delegates, were standing throughout his whole speech, and it was short and to the point, where he encouraged the youth to take up now the battle of developing their countries. Yeah, I was talking about that. I could not even hear what he was talking because I was so surprised then, just staring at the men. When you are amongst, if you are addressed by the world's most, what do you say?
You're flabbergasted. But as in, so you didn't get to hear his speech? What he said?
Here and there, because people were just clapping hands and making noise.
Did you get a grasp of what his point was?
Yeah.
In his speech?
His point was unity and empowering the youth.
Can you tell us, how often did the whole group meet, the whole group of young people from across the world?
Do you mean now?
Daily?
Yeah.
Daily?
We meet daily. We had briefing sessions every morning, devotions. So before we go to the venue, we meet where we discuss problems facing, which problem the delegates faced, and so on. And our leaders were outstanding. They guide us. They never left us alone. There was one instance when we went to the hostel when others were accredited and others were not accredited. Comrade Mandela Kapere decided not to move with the ones who were accredited to the hotel. He stayed with those who were not accredited at the hostel. He decided not to move until everybody is accredited, then he would have moved with them. That was true leadership from him. You understand? And then the others also stayed behind with him, and others, 2 or 3, came with us to the hotel. So they were accepted. The leaders were, I take my hat off for them.
With all this knowledge that our delegates have gained, how do they implement it here at home?
I think it's maybe, I don't know how, because it was my first experience and my first festival to attend, and these festivals to attend throughout years. So I think the implementation will be done maybe by the leaders, the leaders and those political groups maybe will do that. But what I think it's more important is what we have learned there, we should come and implement it immediately and not wait for a year or two, because the knowledge you gain there, it's very much, it's a lot of experience. So we can put it in perspective here when we come. But I think it's more of the leaders, the ones that accompany us, that they can put it into perspective.
And you think that they can be implemented anywhere else, or only in certain countries? Does it depend on the country and the challenges that it faces?
I think for Africa as a whole, because there was a group, we have now a group on WhatsApp where we have decided we cannot wait after 4 years every time to meet in Europe, in those countries outside Africa, for us to discuss our topics. So there were a few people where we discussed and say, let's have this one, let's make a summit also in Africa where youth come together and we discuss our African problems on our continent. Make it every 2 years where we meet and discuss these things. We cannot wait every time for 4 years and go outside the country and discuss our problems. No, let's have a summit or something here as youth and discuss our problems here at home, at our continent.
So they want to bring the World Youth Festival in Africa?
No. Another one, Africans, something like for Africans only, where Africans of the 53 countries discuss their own problems here. After 2 years, we meet and discuss and see the way forward.
Only
not wait on the phone. Yeah, only Africans. Because we meet there in this youth festival as Africans also, but we go there to the other countries and meet. Why can we not do it here in Africa as Africans first?
Any other maybe final words from your side?
From my side to the youth is just let's work together, let's pull in one direction and make this country a better place for us and for our children.
All right. Chompo, let me thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. And that is our show. Be sure to join us again next week, same time, same place. But before I say goodbye, just a reminder for you, our viewers, to share your thoughts with us on the different topics that we discuss on the show. From me, Sheefeni, it's goodbye.